to go. What's happening is Headlines Live. I am Frankie Darcell. Make sure wherever you're checking in from that you let us know. Tell us your name and the city where you are checking in. It is so good to have in the studio with me Flood the drummer. What's happening to people? Slide and invite your friends as well. Flood the drummer. Everybody give him some. Give the drummer some.
How are you?
I'm good.
So you seem like you're in a good mood.
I'm in a good mood. All is well.
Good.
Things are going well. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey,
Who is that? Right? Hey, 8 people. Hey, what is that? 10 people? We're going to be talking about Jussie Smollett. And I mean deep. Hey, 14 people. What's happening? Where are you from? What's happening, Leslie? Leslie Young. Hey, this is Flood, too. You can say, hey, Frankie. Hey, Flood. Hey,
Hi,
Cynthia.
Leslie.
What's happening? Hello, Leslie. We're going to be talking about Jussie Smollett. And we're going to be also talking about the attorney, Mr. Avenatti, because it is just straight drama. Hey, what's happening, Tanya? Thank you for checking in. Sonia Robinson from St. Louis. St. Louis. I'm coming to St. Louis this summer. I'm going to let you know when. Hello to Lisa. Hello, Lisa. Invite your friends in on this conversation. We are talking about Jussie Smollett and getting off on 16 counts. He and I don't think we totally disagree.
I don't know where you stand on it.
Well, we did talk yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's guilty of sin.
And sin is real guilty?
I think he is guilty of sin.
How can you be guilty as sin? Sin is real guilty.
That's what the old folks used to say. He's guilty as sin.
Guilty and sin is real bad. Let's see, Andrea Jackson. Hello, what's happening?
Tracy.
Yeah. So, do you know Andrea? Andrea said, "Hey, Flood." She didn't speak to me. She didn't speak to me. So, again, for everybody joining us, this is Flood the drummer. When I tell you that, I think just an incredible talent.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, really, just an incredible talent. Well-read, articulate, black man. Can I ask people?
See, no, when you call me articulate, it's okay. When white people call me articulate,
they're trying to be funny.
I had a new
what
white.
you trying to think? I can't be articulate.
I had a white neighbor move, and neighborhood's gentrifying.
Yeah.
And me and my
You live in a gentrified neighborhood.
Oh yeah, me and my homie was sitting on the block.
Yeah.
We was just talking and sitting on the steps, and the new neighbor was coming out, taking stuff out of his car, and he hears us talking about marijuana policy.
Right.
And he's like, wow, like, what do you do? I told him, he's like, you're so articulate. I was like,
listen, I thought I was taking over a neighborhood where people couldn't read.
There you go. Now he's never sure whether to speak to me or not.
Really?
Hey, Jerry,
why? Because you're articulate?
Because I think he realized he offended me that day, and he doesn't know how to.
Now, here would be the really interesting thing. You should ask him, do you think you offended me that day? Really? Okay. I think you should have conversation with him about, let me tell you how I felt about what you said. And you probably could engage this man in some great conversation.
Yeah, because we're bikers, so we could probably go biking.
Yeah, you bike?
I'm a bike everywhere. I'm a total biker.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Okay.
I bike up to Market Street, and then I jump on the 44 and come here and then jump on the bike.
All right.
I do about 15 miles
people,
a day.
let me tell you something. This is the hottest podcast out there talking about things that are important and relevant to you in your life. Slide, let folks know that we are live. We're coming to you every Wednesday and Friday about this time, right? So let us know where you are, where you call.
She called you
watching
Marcel.
Who?
She says, hey, Marcel.
As long as you locked in so I can get the number, honey. Darcell. Who is this? This is also Keisha. Even though I am a huge fan of Jussie, I think the way they handled it, I missed the comment. Okay.
He should have went to trial and proved his innocence.
He should have went to, well, you know what? Maybe you're innocent. We're going to get into it. Maybe you're innocent when the prosecutor decides they're going to drop the charges against you. That's the way of being innocent. But we're going to talk about that.
Okay.
What's happening, Andrea Jackson, Collegeville, Pennsylvania. Thank you so much, Denise, for checking in. Swipe, let your friends in on this conversation. We'll be talking about Jussie Smollett. Yesterday, 16 charges against this guy dropped. I'll let you start the conversation about your perspective, and then I'll just interrupt you a few times along the way.
So my take on this is very simple.
Yeah.
I believe that Jussie has lied from the moment this began, late January, when he was attacked. He continues to agree that it was the two Nigerian brothers, or brothers of Nigerian descent who are American citizens.
Who's not talking at all.
Who are now not talking, and their lawyer has left them. What stuck to me is that the bail proffer was very detailed. The mayor yesterday and the superintendent both spoke to the bail proffer. It's not a matter of opinion that Jussie Smollett.
And when you say superintendent, he's talking about the chief.
What we would call the chief.
Right, what we would call the police.
So it's not a matter of opinion that Jussie called the two brothers at 12:49 a.m. and that an hour and a half later he was attacked, right? So either he said something on that phone call that outraged those brothers who were his friends and were his trainers.
If you believe that he was assaulted, that he didn't stage it.
If you believe that he didn't stage it, then you have to believe that he said something to these two men on that phone call who were his trainers, who he had just paid to train him, that they were so outraged that an hour and a half later they went and attacked him, right, with materials that they had already purchased. You would also have to believe that the Chicago police came in and initiated a huge cover-up or a huge scandal. Now, mind you, because he's trying to say all these facts are false. Here's
what I believe, and on the day that this was announced, I thought he garnished the truth.
Garnish the truth?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Sprinkle a little stuff on the truth. Garnish, like garnish you use at home. Garnish the truth. So I was a little side-eyed at the story. So you're not going to get a debate from me on whether or not I personally believe, and I think what people need to understand for Flood and I, we don't just look at stories like these from a entertainment perspective or a layman's perspective. I did investigative journalism for almost 10 years. Been doing this for a long time. So when we look at stories, we look at it as well from a critical perspective, not just, oh, guess what the latest gossip is, let's go online.
Right.
Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
So we look at it from, and just jumping on it and figure we're going to get into the gossip and all that kind of thing like the lay people.
Right.
So I believe that part of what we do naturally by nature, which is why we love what we do, is critically look at stories like this and say, R. Kelly's story, this all don't make sense. You hear me on that? R. Kelly's story, this all don't make sense.
But
listen, so I don't believe that all of what Jussie said was accurate.
Okay.
Now, fast forward to the dropping of the 16 counts. I happen sometimes to be a conspiracy theorist. I do believe, because there was a sealed document, that both the prosecutor, and I'll use the term prosecutor for the sake of the show, that the prosecutor, both the attorney, the defense attorney, and a judge signed off on, that said we will allow this to stand as is. That obviously, which could be the protection of the city of Chicago as well, that there is information within those documents that may never get open and known to the public.
Right.
Because it is a sealed document. Now let me take a step back. The documents in the Bill Cosby case were also sealed by a prosecutor, the defense attorney, and a judge, until another prosecutor came along and said, I want to get this open, put it before a judge, and they opened it again.
And the police are actively engaging with their lawyers to see if they can get that evidence out.
I think a lot of this is hype. I think that the mayor, the police chief, and the prosecutors are all in concert to make it seem as if we're really upset. Because I'm going to tell you something. Jussie beat himself up. Let's just say he did it.
He
beat himself up. What harm was done to the city of Chicago? So people would say, but yeah, look at the black eye Chicago had. Do you really think the Jussie Smollett reason the incident is the reason you wouldn't go to Chicago today? The answer to that question is no. At best, Jussie beat up Jussie. Let's just look at it for what it is. Let's not look at the hype that it brought.
Right. No,
now, he had to forfeit the $10,000 bond,
and do 18 hours,
and he did $18 hours community service. Go to jail for 40 years. Even if they were able to prove it, it's just overreach. At best, Jussie beat up himself.
So
Go ahead.
I want to respond to two things you said. The mayor part I'll do last because I want to, as a turnkey on that. I never believed Jussie should have gone to jail. I don't think that it's appropriate. I think for people who say that they are against mass incarceration, if you're a liberal, no one is safe because Jussie Smollett is behind bars, right? The movement isn't served.
On the street either, but go ahead.
The movement isn't served if Jussie is behind bars. My only issue with Jussie is that he continued to lie even after he was given this deal. Now,
but I mean, can we just?
Well, no, let me just say this part.
Okay, because we're gonna act like we're in a barbershop in a minute.
Okay,
Go
the
ahead.
state prosecutor who dropped the charges told CBS News, "I believe he's guilty." So I believe
to save face for them.
Right.
To save face for them.
But he said
and guess
that it
what
was
Jussie
important.
did? And guess what Jussie did?
What?
He saved face for him. Everybody's saving face.
Yeah.
Of course, the prosecutor wasn't going to come out and say, "We don't think he did it." Of course, they wouldn't do that.
I think
and
that
Jussie's
the deal,
not going to come out and say, "Yeah, I did this."
Yes. The deal should have been 18 hours of community service, forfeit your bond, and admit guilt. Because now...
Well, it all depends on what's in that agreement, which we don't know. We don't know how the police investigated this story. We don't know. And I don't believe that it is sealed for the sake of protecting Jussie. For the prosecutor to do this.
I'm with you, Wilhelmina. Jussie's a lying nut.
Well, listen, it doesn't mean that I'm not with you either. I'm not by any means saying that I believe that Jussie Smollett is innocent.
Oh, you're not Team Jussie?
Well,
because I feel like you give me a little Team Jussie vibe.
No, I'm not team. I'm team motive.
Okay.
And I believe both sides had a motive.
Yes.
I believe that the prosecutor had a motive to protect the way in which they handled this, and I believe that Jussie Smollett had a motive as to why he did what he did.
Okay.
I'm saying to you that I am indifferent of making any clear decision because I believe that both sides had the potential to want to protect their own best interest.
Yeah, I think that, to your point, I think that part of the deal, or part of why they closed it, is because there was some shoddy parts of these investigations. There were a lot of leaks. And I think that Jussie's legal team probably threatened...
From who?
From the police department.
Okay.
And I think that Jussie's team may have threatened a defamation lawsuit because they were leaking things as this investigation was playing out.
Correct.
So I think they said, let's just call it even. But
if you agree with that, you're saying that that's on the prosecutor. That would have been the police department.
Messed it up for the prosecution.
Messed it up for the prosecution. Because they can only prosecute the evidence brought to them from the police department.
But again...
So I believe that there was some shenanigan going on in
like
terms of...
Tanya Dyson Berry. Police let too much info out and couldn't use it against him, so what they did, they all handled it wrong. Yeah, I think it was a lot of missteps. Yeah. But
for it to be sealed and to just write off as
expunge the record.
And you know, and in cases like this, when you go to court and the judge is standing there and involved in this process, Mr. Smollett, do you understand what this means? Do you understand that you can't do X, Y, Z, 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 and Z? And the prosecutor reads it first and says,
maybe his boyfriend beat him up. That's not nice.
I'm not laughing at that. For anybody that might be interested in saying, and Frankie laughed at that comment. Okay. You know, well, can I just say something?
Sure, it's your show.
Why is it for the two brothers that they always have to... Are there any pictures of the two guys, the two African... and I mean it literally, the two African brothers who happen to be brothers. They don't have any photos with shirts on? Except outside of the beauty supply. Are they muscle shirts?
They have muscle shirts.
Maybe I've only been paying attention. It might be a woman thing. I've only been noticing the photos of them. I'm like, can they put some clothes on?
The article today with TMZ have them in the shirt, but the muscles are bulging out of their clothes. But let's talk about that for a second. Why do you think the brothers have clammed up and don't want to talk? Why do you think they didn't come out?
Because everybody is protecting their own interests. And here's the other part to what you said. Because even to what we talked about even previously, if somebody assaulted you and they wrote it off, you would still want to hold that person accountable.
That's my point. That was the main takeaway for me with the press conference, was neither Jussie or his lawyer said, yeah, so now we know who attacked him. We want them held responsible. We want them prosecuted to the fullest of the law. We want them arrested. If you were as victimized as you claim, as broken up as you appeared on GMA, why would you not demand the arrest of the two brothers who did it? If you didn't plan it.
Because you spent 30 days, a couple of them in jail, a couple of them being scrutinized, because Jussie did more to her
brothers got paid. I think the brothers got another check from Jussie. I think that's why they didn't say anything.
Well, but it wasn't, well, we don't know, because we don't know what's in the sealed documents. Right?
What do you mean?
We don't whether or not they got paid. We don't know if they got paid, because it was not their statements that forced, well, I don't want to say forced, where the prosecutor decided not to prosecute them. The brothers had nothing to do with them cutting this deal.
Oh, correct. No. But I'm
Right?
saying why they didn't come out after it was sealed, and Jussie said I was telling the truth. The lawyer for the brothers said, we want you to go out there and make a statement and stand by your claim that you were paid to do this.
And
the lawyer said no.
The lawyer
don't want
said
to say
no.
anything.
Well,
so the lawyer quit because of that.
Well, let me say, the guy said they don't want to say anything. Let me tell you all something. The average person could not deal with the heat in the kitchen the way a lot of these stories unfold. You know, you talking about being on social media 24/7, you're trending, you're on every network news story, you're on every newspaper, you're on shows like this one, and people are talking about you. That's not an easy thing to do. And if people get the opportunity, what?
R. Kelly's trying to find out who Jussie's lawyer is.
Well,
everybody in Chicago getting a check except R.
well,
Kelly.
you know, and going to that point, Chicago's got a lot going on. It really has a lot going on. And again, Jussie beat Jussie up.
Yes.
You know, should he have to pay, you know, the amount of, money it took to investigate this false claim? But hell, this is not even a false claim anymore. You know what I mean? We're not going to admit guilt. You're not going to admit guilt. Let's let this thing run its course. And, you know, I've sat in meetings with individuals who have tried to navigate themselves through situations like this and PR nightmares. And let me tell you, they've got boards against the wall and they're throwing things up there to see what stick. And I've sat in meetings where they just straight said, listen, everybody put on your helmet. We're going to have to take a lick on this. We're going to throw this out there. Let's take the 3-4 days of the media cycle and everybody's going to move on. And let's pray for something else to happen so that we can get off of the front page. That's just the way that it works. And the two brothers, you know, that's a lot of scrutiny. One, they're not from here.
They are from here.
No, didn't they go away before? And they said, because they weren't born here.
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Actually, that was one of the interesting things that came out and said hi Kim Ray. She says hi Frankie and friend. It's Flood. FLOOD.
They'll get Flood the drummer, and they'll get it because we're going to be here every Wednesday and Friday at about 5 o'clock.
Yeah. The brothers are American citizens. They were born and raised in Chicago. They are just of Nigerian descent.
Okay.
And they just had to happen to take a trip to Nigeria after the attack.
Listen, Zenon said that the head cop, the chief,
is a crybaby.
Yeah. You know,
and then can Jussie be recharged again since Chicago is still investigating? Well, here's the interesting thing about that.
In terms of the letter.
The federal investigators, I think they'll end up dropping that.
Yeah.
What really got me was the mayor's righteous indignation when he said we can't have two systems of justice. And I'm thinking, you set on the Laquan McDonald tape when that kid was shot 16 times in your street. You protected the cop. To me, that's a bigger lie than what anything Jussie Smollett could have told. And I've never seen that level of righteous indignation from Mayor Rahm Emanuel.
And a school system that is in chaos.
Right.
In a school system that is in chaos. I talked to a couple of folks that I know in Chicago just talking about what is the temperament, what is the vibe of the city. And folks are not feeling it. And quite frankly, your comments that you just made, a lot of folks in Chicago are saying, huh? He said, what? You know, because a lot of this also proves the amount of issues there are with people who are within city government in Chicago. So Mayor Rahm Emanuel is term limited. He's out at the end of the year. And normally when a mayor's out, the chief of police normally goes with him. So for the prosecutor, for example, I don't have to really listen to what you have to say. It's clearly there's a disconnect. If we believe what Rahm Emanuel has said and what the commission has said, then they had no idea that this was even happening. Who does that in city government with a case as big as this to say, Mr. Mayor, we're not telling you, Chief, we're not telling you what it is. You find out when I found. He found out when
feelings were hurt.
You know what I mean? Well, they should have been. They should have been hurt the way he handled his press conference.
He took it personal from the day one. It felt like he had been, aggrieved. Like Jussie was his son or something. He was always speaking as a disappointed father. And I think that probably played. I mean, when is the last time you've seen a police chief, or in this case a superintendent, during an investigation, doing Good Morning America interviews everywhere? Like he was getting famous. Yes.
The media scrutiny in cases like this, and the attention that people get. It's a good thing when it's good, and that's what we were talking about as it related to the brothers. And thank you for saying they were born and raised here. It's easy initially to say, yeah, guess what? Boy, I want to be on TV. And then all of a sudden, people are questioning your motives, your character, your integrity, whether you lied, you didn't lie, whether or not, you know, you like jumping out of alleys and beating folks up. That's not a great place to be. Hey, Dwight, that's not, hey, Brooklyn, Beth Savison, that's not a great place to be when people are literally tearing you apart relative to your character. So in terms of them not wanting to say anything, it may be because they just want to get their lives back. So
who's watching Empire tonight? Because I know I had a hard time watching it last week.
Now, have you been watching it consistently?
I've been watching it since the day it came on.
Really? See,
yeah. I'm an Empire fan, and I was a Jussie Smollett fan, which is probably another reason why this has bothered me so, because I'm thinking, come on, brother, you ruined it for me. South Florida, what's up, Alfred? Are you not an Empire fan? Or is that why you're centering yourself? What is that? It's my guilty pleasure. I don't get to watch much TV.
It's okay. It's okay. No, I don't. Okay, no, I don't watch it.
You don't watch it?
I stopped watching it.
Is it too ratchet?
What?
Is it too ratchet?
It became a little bit too much for me several seasons ago. I think it just went into directions.
They watching Empire. Sheena Nicole Griffin.
So who was in the coffin? I know that much.
They haven't told you yet. They are dragging that storyline out. Oh my God!
This is one of the reasons I stopped watching.
I've been stopped watching Empire.
Me too. I know, and that's one of the reasons I stopped watching the haves and the have-nots.
I've never seen that.
Well, I know, right? So there was a guy, one of the Tyler Perry shows on OWN. God bless him. But this cop got shot in one of the shows he writes on OWN. That guy stayed in the hospital for about 6 seasons and never came out of the hospital. I don't know which one it is. Let's see, CNN reports that Mike Pence raised concerns about eliminating Obamacare without a backup in place. Oh yeah, absolutely, and they've been covering that on CNN today quite a bit. Listen,
but he's usually lock and step with Trump. Trump wants to get rid of Obamacare. He's saying, Pence is saying, oh, maybe not so fast.
Yeah, because Pence is also saying 2020 is right around the corner.
Well, that's exactly right. And, a lot of the pundits have been talking about 2018 was a referendum that people want to talk about policy. They want to talk about all this other stuff. You can't say we're going to eliminate pre-existing conditions for Obamacare, and now we're cutting and gutting the Special Olympics budget. Right?
I know, and that's a Betsy DeVos thing. Oh my goodness, and living in Michigan, knowing her husband.
If Loving You Is Wrong.
Yeah. Oh, did it end? That show is Loving You. That's it. Look, I haven't watched it in so long, I forgot the name of it. If Loving You Is Wrong, and that man staying in that bed for 3 seasons was wrong too.
Courtney says it's Andre who's going to be in the coffin because he's leaving, doing a new show with his wife on Fox. Okay. Speaking of the show Empire, do you think, because I just saw a comment, I'm not sure who it was.
Thank you, Toya, for that. Yeah.
Dump Trump.
Tanya.
I stopped watching the show a while ago. Also, do you think that now that the case has been sealed, it's done, Jussie is considered not guilty in the eyes of the law, that he should be edited back into 2 episodes and be back in good standing with the show?
The question becomes civilly, because I'm sure in that agreement.
Jesse Jackson says, the brothers that if they weren't from here, ICE would have dropped them from the door.
I love my viewers and my people.
Hi, Holly.
I said ICE would have got him out, right?
And Trump's America, you're damn right.
Right. So what was your question?
Do you think now that he's found not guilty in the eyes of the law, or has been adjudicated, whatever, that he should be back in the Empire last 2 episodes? And I'm sure in that agreement, it says that you will not sue the city of Chicago. Yes.
And the city of Chicago is going to let you walk away. So, is there an opportunity civilly to sue anybody? Fox also let the guy go before he was even found guilty. Not like they said, look, we're going to just put you out the pasture.
Right?
Well,
they just took him off the last 2
But isn't that firing? If you make XYZ amount of dollars per show, and that's how you make your money, and they took you out of the episodes. And we don't know. Maybe they took him out of the episodes, but did they still pay him per show? That's a question. Yeah. And who gets compensated? Does he get compensated for that? And the question specifically becomes, now do you believe that his record has been, it's gone away, there's nothing on his record, that he should be written back into the show?
Shayna Nicole Griffin, no, Jussie needs to get his life and relationship together with his man and audition next season.
Who said that?
Shayna Nicole Griffin.
I'm not responding to you.
Holly says, I love Empire, but I can't seem to watch Jussie's scenes. Maserati. Hi, Frankie, watching all the way from California.
Hey, what's happening? Yeah. Aw, good to see you. Good to see you.
So there's been a debate on whether Jussie will be blacklisted. I don't know if, I mean, America loves a comeback story.
They do. They do. And I just believe in what we say. In other cases, people are innocent until proven guilty. And if we're going to believe in the tenets of what this country was founded on, then we should believe that people are innocent until proven guilty. Not until proven otherwise, until proven guilty.
But you know what? The reality, though, I mean, that's not the case.
But it's the law. It's law, and we know
the justice system works when people are presumed guilty. That's why most cases end up in plea deals.
Yeah,
because people are presumed
and that's
guilty.
why most people end up sitting in prison that never committed a crime. And let me just say this too. And I also believe that we've gotten so far removed. 1 minute before my next break, we've gotten so far removed from what we believe to be redemption. And redemption
multitasking queen right here. I ain't never seen nothing like that.
That we live in a world of redemption. You know, we can look at the news in any city, and we got folks on here. There's absolutely no collusion.
That's the best comment.
Oh my gosh, that's Maserati.
Maserati, no doubt.
Oh
There's
my
absolutely
God.
no collusion. That's so funny.
That's hilarious. Yeah, you get a 10 on that one. That was funny. Absolutely.
Okay,
listen. Right. So listen to, I am on the air right now as well at WTASFM.com. I'm getting ready to wrap up my 20 seconds. All right, so I've got 20 seconds. Where am I? It's 5:25. If you're on the East Coast, what time is it? It's 5:25. It's 5:25, right?
Yes.
It's 5:25.
2:25 on the West Coast.
Okay, I know, but what time is it?
It's 5:25.
5:25. Thank you very much.
5:24.
All right, here we go. Philly's best R&B and throwbacks on 105.3 WTAS, wrapping up the 5 o'clock traffic jam with Cosmic Kev. Of course, we do it each and every weekday at 5 o'clock. And, of course, we keep it inside the FC Corvette Cadillac commercial-free commute. Make sure that you check me out with Cosmic Kev each and every weekday. It's being brought to you by LaSalle University's next graduate and adult open house happening Saturday, April 7th. Register at lasalle.edu/graduate. Inside the FC Corvette Cadillac commercial-free commute, we're 105.3 WTAS. Bam! All right, so where were we?
We were talking about charges being dropped.
Yes, let's see. 2 police investigative reports released in Smollett case.
Oh, wow.
Police investigative. CNN is reporting right now that there are 2 investigative reports that are going to be released this evening.
So we might actually see something after all.
Yeah, 2 police investigative reports, yeah.
And let's more up on that while we
and we want to see as well. Let's see, my producer just walked out of the door. Wendy is crazy. This ain't new information. Let's see.
Do you feel bad for her?
Who?
Wendy Williams.
Oh, okay. So let's talk about the Wendy Williams story. You got to set that one up.
Okay. So apparently she's been living in a sober house.
Wait a minute. Shout out to 71st and Ogon. Shout them out. What's
all right,
up?
Tony Urquhart.
Thank you. Hello, Courtney. Listen,
she was asking about
guys.
that, Courtney. Yes. What do y'all think about the Wendy situation?
Y'all really want to ask me that? And for
Ed Tolson, Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Yay, Fayetteville. My brother was stationed in the Army in Fayetteville. Thank you for checking in. Okay, so we're going to talk about the Wendy Williams thing. What is this?
Wendy reek what she saw. I've heard a lot of people say that they don't feel sorry for Wendy because karma is coming back to get her, that she's been so messy.
Well, tell a story. Tell a story.
So apparently, not apparently, Wendy Williams has
allegedly.
Well, she took a break from her show.
Okay.
Yeah, she had been missing from her show. They had different guest hosts because she was dealing with some sicknesses, some illness. And apparently there is some strife in the home. That her husband allegedly her husband
that's where allegedly comes in. Allegedly
her husband has allegedly been stepping out on her and allegedly has gotten the baby the side piece pregnant.
I don't know how you alleged the term side piece, but I want you to keep going.
And Wendy has
allegedly he has a side piece.
Allegedly he has a side piece.
Allegedly he has.
Allegedly his name is Kevin too.
All right.
Wendy hasn't been dealing with as well, and a
couple things.
Okay.
One, you're saying, okay, so we know she made the comment about the fact that she was in a halfway house.
Yes.
Of late, the stories are that
a sober house, husband, not a halfway house.
Her husband.
Yes.
Has been allegedly, or it has been rumored that there's been an affair or some infidelity with an individual, which has been reported nationally.
Correct.
And that this individual has recently delivered a child. Is that the story that you're talking about? So go from there.
So Wendy has been living in a sober house because she's been open about her addiction to cocaine, and apparently and allegedly this event might have been a trigger for her. And so she felt maybe she needs to be in this kind of safe space as she's dealing with all this.
Which is why
yesterday she was found drunk. And they had to take her to the hospital and pump her up with IVs and stuff like that. So clearly this is not a good time for Wendy Williams. I personally don't take any joy in anyone's misery, no matter how messy they may be.
Even the folk who take a check, you might not take any joy, but some folk take a check for other folks' memory. I'm just saying.
Yes. Judge Mathis is having a field day with this, Maserati said. Tanya Dysonberry's side piece had baby right here in Philly. Oh, she allegedly gave birth to a baby girl in Philadelphia. She's a Philly piece.
Oh, did you say a Philly piece? So that would make her a side. Listen, this is my Philadelphia. You got to know how to say it. That would be a side John.
A side John.
Not a side piece.
I'm proud of you. I didn't even know you knew that.
That would be a side John here in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Tracy says, I just think Wendy should stop spilling tea and address what's going on in her life. She's too critical on other people's tea. Stop, Wendy. Clean your own mess.
Well, let me say, and because when the report of I've been in a sober house,
yes,
I thought then that it was the precursor to somewhat to come.
Okay.
So today's reporting that there's allegedly, a child connected to her factual husband.
Right.
He said,
yes, I joined.
That I'm getting treatment. That story in the admission, because the question became, why was there an admission that I'm in a halfway house?
Yeah.
Why did I have to do that? Because this story was coming. So this is a way.
You mean the story about the baby?
Yes. Because if I say on Monday, y'all help me. It garners for me a little compassion and it says a lot about a person of stature who could admit that I've fallen short too, right? And then 2 days later, this big bomb drops. You know what I mean? It's a way to be able to say, let me put this out there because this is getting ready to come. And when the shoe totally drops, here's an opportunity to be able to say, well, this is why this happened, and this is what I've been going through, and in situations like that, it has to be overwhelming for anybody, and it's like where they say that the news person should never become the story, the attorney shouldn't represent themselves, and it appears that this may be, quite frankly, the kind of situation she's finding herself in.
Do you think she came out? I just want to understand. You said she's came out so she could build sympathy.
I don't want to say she came out because she could build sympathy, but I think those are sympathetic stories. And with this coming behind it, it gives people a little bit of understanding to be able to understand the position that she's in. From her perspective.
Do you think that this is karma? Or do you think that's wrong for people?
I don't know what it is for her, but I will tell you, I believe what you put out into the universe. I believe what you put out into the universe has a way of coming back. And sometimes folks, we have conversations about people and things that we do and what we say, and not to talk about somebody else's hustle, because whatever works for you. And if that works for you, and that's what
you like it, I love it, right?
Yeah, well, no, I don't have to love it. If you like it and it works for you, do you? That's my position. If you like it and and it works for you, do you?
Maserati is killing it. She says she came out because her nose kept dropping from all that good coke. That is too much. That's too much. It's okay to laugh. It's so funny.
Let's talk about CNN. You found something that they reported.
Yes, so they did release the documents, some files on the Smollett investigation. From what I'm reading so far, it's not anything that we haven't already known. The documents just really detail what the police were doing behind the scenes, some of the maneuvers, how they came up with some of the evidence. And they talked the opening line for the story. This is from the Chicago Tribune, published at 2:35 this afternoon. It says a $100 check deposited as a grocery store bank, a red baseball cap purchased at an uptown shop, a bottle of hot sauce left
See,
at
well,
the
you can stop that right now because I think this is regurgitating some irrelevant information. And I think what the
But
real
don't you think
issue...
it speaks to the fact that they have real evidence?
But there's a document now that's signed. I think all of this is people trying to save face. And what it really says about Chicago is that they have a system that is really in trouble. I mean, this is what we're talking about is really a Chicago. It sounds to me like a Chicago problem. You have a prosecutor who relies on the police, their investigation, to provide them with the information to do a job. So you have a prosecutor who does something totally in the opposite of what the police department would do. And a mayor who says he had no idea. That says something about a failed city government. And with Chicago and what we
also
read...
says something about shady, right? Why would you not tell the police the mayor heads up?
Which says so, and so what Chicago should be focusing on is its own inner issues within its own city government and state government. And all of this is all...
You think they should just put Jussie behind them? Like this whole thing, just put it behind him and move on?
Well, I think that this may have been the thing for the rest of us to see what's been going on. And see, we don't live in Chicago, so we don't get there regularly.
If I could do a little Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Russia, if you're listening, I want those documents.
You know,
I want them. I want to see what. I want to.
Yeah. So
there's going to be a leak.
There's
going to be a massive leak of documents in the coming days.
Sure, but if none of them are connected to the agreement, the confidentiality agreement signed by Jussie Smollett, the prosecutor, and authorized and signed off by the judge, it doesn't matter to me. Because we can talk about this story and whether he did it, he didn't do it until the cows come home. Really, the story here is why did they come up with the deal? That's the story. Well, who did it? If they had a news, if he had a MAGA hat, that is behind us.
But you know,
because the prosecutor, the person who would be responsible for prosecuting this case, has cut a deal with Jussie Smollett. And if the information for me is not connected to that, it doesn't matter what happened a month ago.
Well, here's what State Attorney Kim Foxx said, according to the Chicago Tribune this afternoon's article. It says, meanwhile, State Attorney Kim Foxx, who recused herself because she had early contact with Smollett's representatives early in the investigation, it says, meanwhile, State Attorney Kim Foxx spoke about the case Wednesday at an event at WBEZ FM 91.5, noting that she did not make the decision to dismiss the case, but said prosecutors have made similar arrangements for defendants with low-level felony charges. And so, maybe there was nothing nefarious at play.
Right. This is really about a lot of hype.
It is a lot of hype.
I mean, really, you know, the amount of coverage, if we had $1 just for the amount of coverage this case has gotten, the imprint that every text, tweet, post, because what he did, if you believe he set it up, was wrong. Who did it harm? It harmed him, harmed the individuals, and it harmed the reputation of the city of Chicago. It was not a crime committed upon. He didn't go knock somebody else out and say somebody else did it. This was a crime against himself.
And for people who are saying the mayor and the police captain, superintendent in particular, to your earlier point, this is not a black eye to the city of Chicago. Laquan McDonald was a black eye to the city of Chicago. The black site that were being held illegally and operated by the Chicago Police Department, where they were taking suspects there and beating them to get confessions out. That's a black eye on Chicago. The school system that you referred to is a black eye on Chicago. Jussie Smollett is a black eye to Jussie Smollett.
Jussie Smollett gave himself a black eye.
There you go.
You know,
so that's why when people were saying Jussie paid off these prosecutors, I don't think that was the case. I think that they said this was.
And I don't think that Jussie has enough pull, nor he's in the right circle for them to want to take a payoff. And as much as, and I wouldn't put anything past anybody, but as much as this as well was so high profile, anybody that would be willing to take money on a case like this, they need to leave office because you're really hard up for some cash. If you would take cash on a situation like this that everybody is watching, I think that it is crazy. So, thank you for joining us. We're going to do this every Wednesday. And Friday. And we thank you all so much for hanging out with us. Thank you, Wilhelmina Collins.
Then he called the police and blamed someone else, albeit fictitious. I think, look, if nothing else for Jussie, he could be a great fiction writer.
Love you too, Maserati, no doubt.
He could be a great fiction writer. He has a vivid imagination. He can write some books.
Listen, and as a person, if in the event
Glad you
set
enjoyed
up.
yourself, Leslie. She said this was great.
Awesome.
Denzel said the FBI is investigating it right now.
The FBI is investigating.
Oh, I thought he said it was investigating me because I called for the leak of the documents. I was like, I hope they don't.
Oh my goodness, no. If in the event there's some stories, you can always hit me up at Frankie Darcell at iHeartMedia.com. Would love to hear from you. Hello, Denise. Thanks a lot for checking in. Erica as well. She said Jussie did it. Simple as that. A lot of people believe, that he did. What is the repercussion for that? What is the charge for that? The the prosecutor said, listen, the charge for that is some community service. We're going to keep your 10 grand, and we're going to keep it going. He's going to be dealing with this a lot. And to think, he said, he said,
no, don't go. Courtney Williams didn't want to see you.
That when he said, my mother and my why would I do this, to my family? And it's an interesting
He said, I'm not my mother's son.
Yeah.
You ain't your mother's son, Jussie. I got bad news for you.
So you straight believe, bottom line, that
he's a liar.
He's a liar.
He's a liar.
And even if you believe that he's a liar, I don't believe that he should do 40 years.
I don't think he should ever see me inside of a jail. I just want him to admit that he did it, so that I don't feel crazy, and if the people out there are like, this case is over now, there's no closure. I feel like I ended a bad relationship. You just walked away.
Listen, I wasn't there. You weren't there. The police chief wasn't there, and you used the information made available to us to do a critical assessment of whether we believe more likely than not something did or did not happen. He could be telling the truth.
I don't believe that.
You believe O.J. did it?
No. I believe Trump colluded with the Russians, though. OJ, that's my man.
Oh my goodness. So with that said, thank you guys so much for checking in as Headlines Live with Frankie Darcell. This is my guy, my buddy, Flood the Drummer.
Follow me on
Instagram
and Twitter at Flood the Drummer, FLOODTHEDRUMMER. And of course, follow Frankie Darcell.
Yeah, Frankie Darcell. Real simple. You could follow me on every social media site at just straight Frankie Darcell, and definitely right here at WDAS.
This is better than 48 hours.
Oh, we just have a good time. And listen, we're going to talk about it the way that you guys talk about it, right in your homes. And I got to tell you, he's a great investigative journalist. He's dealing with city government right now as well, just on the inside of everything happening in and around the city of Philadelphia. So it's good to have you.
I get to be a little lighthearted. I don't have to deal with. You spelled it right. Flood the Drummer. Everybody like us comment.
And we're giving people what we consider to be the facts from what I believe to be an intellectual perspective, and learning about it. If something is incorrect, like you said today, nope. These brothers are born and raised here in this country, right there in Chicago. We're going to get it right.
Courtney Williams is asking you to make this everyday thing. They love you.
And I love them too. Do I have 3 minutes? 3 minutes before my next break. Of course, I'm on the air right now at WDASFM.com. So thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll be back on Friday at what, 5?
Yeah.
4:45, 4:45, 5 o'clock. And of course,
hour.
Bring a drink, bring a drink. And of course, we will give you all the headlines of the week, including what's happening in city government. And we've got one coming up that we're still working on it. That's going to be on the Don't say a word.
I'm saying nothing.
If he brings it up, we're going to be on another 25-30 minutes. And I got to go. I have got to go. But this one, this initiative is going to be on the ballot coming up May 15th.
21st.
May 21st. You're going to not...
Friday needs to hurry up.
Friday needs to... Yeah, so 4:45, make sure that you are right here and check it out. It's Headlines Live with Frankie Darcell and Flood the Drummer. Thank you so much for checking in, everybody. I got to go. Bye!